Aloha and mabuhay. Good evening, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Naimbaga Sardam, maayong gabi sa inyong tanan. Mayap Abengi. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo sa Healthy Mondays with the Apino of Nevada. I'm yours truly, Dr. Mary Faye Aczon-Armstrong, founding president of the Asian American Pacific Islander Nurse Association of Nevada and professor in nursing at Roseman University of Health Sciences College of Nursing. Welcome the new year of 2023, Manigong Bagong Taon, Haoli Makahikiho. Wow, the year of 2022 has come and gone, and I can't keep up with the time passing by so fast. How's your health? How's your mind and heart? How's your overall well-being? So tonight, we'll do a recap of our episodes during 2022, starting with January New Year's resolution with my friend and neighbor, Jean Stump, our miracle baby. And of course, Ms. Cherry Dumao, Director of the Patient Relations at the Mondays campaign.
Our first 2022 episode, let me think. I think it's about 138 episode for tonight. I will have to confirm that with PHLV Radio. So here we go. Our guest tonight is my newfound friend and neighbor at Cadence Community in Henderson, Nevada. He has a very impressive story. One, he was born in Würzburg, Germany, and has many places around the world where he learned his many talents. He graduated from Shaw High School in a New Orleans, Louisiana suburb, and I think I'm going to age him here. In 1971 to 1978, he was the original bass guitar player for the 3-time Grammy Award winner Sounds of Blackness. Wow, I didn't know this, Gene. Academically, he has a BA in political science and speech from Macalester College in St. Paul, Minnesota, a BS in accounting and MBA from the University of Phoenix. He also has an MA in community education administration from St. Thomas University. And he is a veteran from starting from second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force and retired from aerospace as a systems engineer. Lastly, I didn't know he was in politics. He was elected to the city council in California City, California, and vice mayor and mayor pro term in 2018. Wow, Jean, I'm impressed. I'm so proud to be your neighbor. Welcome to Healthy Mondays with Apino of Nevada. Please say hello to our listeners out there.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet all of you. And your host is an impressive woman as well. And so we share a location that we both lived, and that's in Hawaii. And that's where I learned how to play my first instrument, the ukulele. So hello, everyone.
Yes, and also we wanted to share, Jean and I are founding members of our New Heritage Ukulele and Hula Club, right? It's a 55 plus community. So we've been practicing. We even performed in our Christmas party, a celebration here in our community. So would you like to share more information about you, something that you wanted to share with them?
I tell everybody, those of you who believe in something, who have faith, when I was 10 months old and we were living in Germany, we had maids in those days because it was easy to hire one. So we had one, and she was cleaning and left out the furniture polish, and I drank it. And they thought I was going to die. I had double pneumonia, and the doctor told my parents to make funeral preparations because I wouldn't make it through the night. But enough people from the base prayed for me, and I believe in the power of prayer. So they prayed for me, and I made it. Not only did I make it, but I'm around now, some 68 years later. So prayer does work, and you're listening to a miracle baby right here.
Wow, amen, amen, amen. God is not done with you yet. He has a lot of great plans. You know, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you.
So that was back in January 2022. We also have a variety of episodes that we covered with Awareness Month. And one of them is the National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month with Dr. Rigel J. Tan, professor in nursing at UNLV School of Nursing, and he was the past president of the Nevada State Board of Nursing. Dr. Tan initiated the first mental health law of the Philippines, known as Mental Health Act of the Philippines, through the Republic Act 11036, and initiated the first city ordinance in Cebu City related to mental health care sa barangay. He co-founded the Kalahi Philippine Folkloric Ensemble, a cultural community-based organization aimed to unite Filipino Americans in Las Vegas through preservation and promotion of Filipino heritage, arts, and culture. He is a Philippine Nurse Association of Nevada advisor, and he formed the Evidence-Based Practice Committee. Dr. Tan is a member of Clark County Emergency Corps and a member of the Sita Kappa chapter of the Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society for Nurses. So without further ado, welcome to Healthy Mondays.
Thank you, Dr. Armstrong, and thank you for inviting me here. This feels like home at PHLV. We have a lot of projects for community through media, through this station. So I'm very, very grateful I'm back again after the pandemic.
Yes, and it is our honor to have you in our show. Please say hello to our listeners and share your story.
Well, hello everyone, and I've heard of and I've known of Healthy Mondays long time ago when I met Dr. Armstrong. That was years ago, and of course she brought this from Hawaii, right? So
yes.
We're very, very fortunate to have this program also in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas we have a lot of minorities. Also, of course, it's not as much as ratio in Hawaii, but Filipino thrive in Las Vegas community. So the minorities here are also very, very strong. So it's so nice to have somebody who initiated a program like this, who looks at the health and the welfare of the minorities, the Asian population, and Pacific Islander in this big town of mixed culture and diversity.
Yes,
so I want to say hello to everyone who's listening. This is vibrant Las Vegas with all its flair for the various culture mixed in one. We call it Vegas.
Yes, Viva Las Vegas. And if you can see Dr. Tan's outfit and my outfit, we represent the Filipino culture.
Yeah, and we're very proud of that. And of course, I have to compliment your favorite color, your purple.
Purple, yes. Yes, that was a pleasant interview with Dr. Rigel J. Tan during the National Minority Awareness Month. I also interviewed someone from Nevada Donor Network, well, a couple of them, and let's take a listen. We're going to talk about donorship. Let me just share a little bit about Nevada Donor Network. Briefly, their mission is to maximize the gift of life and health through organ, eye, and tissue donation. So I have my special guest, and thank you so much for being here and taking your time out of your busy schedule. Let me introduce first Steven Peralta. He is the foundation president of the Nevada Donor Network Foundations, and he holds a Juris Doctorate from Seattle University School of Law and a bachelor's degree from the University of Washington. He's also a basketball player, and he played with Seattle's NBA, formerly Sonics, and WNBA team with Seattle Storm. And so many accomplishments, Steven. And talk about connection. Steven served as the Director of Philanthropy for Roseman University's College of Medicine in Summerlin, where I currently teach, but instead as a nursing professor for the Henderson and South Jordan campus. So welcome to Healthy Mondays, Steven.
Thank you, Dr. Armstrong, and all the listeners out there. Aloha, kumusta, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in.
You can call me Mary Faye from now, from here on.
Okay.
It's just like an advertisement. And our next guest is Mr. Harry Singh. He is the Managing Director of HR Global Consulting, President and CEO of the Nevada Community Health Center, Chairman of the Las Vegas India Chamber of Commerce,
I'm trying to pick here which else. But today I want to focus, or tonight I want to focus that he is the advisor, consultant, community mobilization, and chairman of the Diversity Council for the Nevada Donors Network. So welcome, Harry, to Healthy Mondays.
Thank you, Marifi.
So before we dive into our topic, I think that I wanted to open up this very sensitive topic, dear to my heart and passion. I believe that Stephen and Harry and I got involved with this organization because of our passion. But I wanted to read this very sensitive letter that a parent of a child who had organs harvested. So let me start. This is a letter sent by the Ohio Valley Life Center in February 13, 1996. So let me read you, if I may, the letter. We want to take this opportunity to express to you our deepest sympathy for the loss of your daughter. We know there is little we can do or say to lessen your grief. Your decision to offer your daughter's organs for transplantation was a most unselfish one. To think of others at such a tragic time is a most difficult thing to do. We certainly appreciate your courage and generosity. The recovery of organs from your daughter impacted many lives, and we would like to share this information with you. The recipient of one of your daughter's kidney is a 45-year-old woman who had been suffering from kidney failure. Prior to her transplant, she had been on dialysis 3 times a week since October 1993. After her transplant, the recipient is doing very well and has returned home to her daughter in Kentucky. Her future plans include to quickly return back to work at a large Fortune 500 company. The recipient of your daughter's other kidney is a very mature 14-year-old boy from Cincinnati. He needed a kidney transplant because he had systemic lupus. He is also doing very well and is home now with his mom and 4 other siblings. Your daughter's heart was recovered and the heart valves will be used for transplantation. Your daughter's eyes were recovered and the corneas have been used to restore the sight of 2 individuals, a 3-month-old boy and a 52-year-old woman. Due to the strict medical criteria required for middle ear donation, this tissue was unable to be recovered for transplantation. Again, on behalf of not only the recipients, but the transplant team as well, we truly thank you for your generous gift, and we hope you find comfort in knowing what a difference your gift has made for others. This is from the transplant coordinator. So I think it's very fitting to start that letter with our topic tonight. And we're, on behalf of the Opino of Nevada founding members, we thank you both for taking this time again out of your busy schedule. So maybe we can start with Stephen. Maybe you can share a little bit about yourself, how your path led you to Nevada Donor Network.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again for this opportunity and this platform to talk about organ, eye, and tissue recovery, donation, and transplantation. It's avenues such as this and reaching all the listeners, as many as we can, in spreading the gift of life. April 1 celebrates Donate Life Month nationally. So again, it's very fitting that we do this. The strip here in Las Vegas will lit up blue and green in honor of all the organ donors and transplant recipients across the country, as well as the state. Fremont Street Experience will be lit up. I got involved in Nevada Donor Network, and I first heard about Nevada Donor Network many years ago, actually through my wife. My wife was a registered nurse at Sunrise, and she worked in the trauma ICU department. And she would always come home during the tough cases through organ recovery, especially with the kids. It was really difficult talking to the families, and she would hear all the heartaches. But then at a moment's notice, one of the darkest moments in a family's life becomes a gift of hope and a gift of life for the transplant families. And so she would share that experience coming home. And again, that was back in 2004. And so that's when I first heard about Nevada Donor Network.
And so that's part of the episodes that we had during the year of 2022. There are also topics that we have in addition to the Nevada donor. We also have Sheena Patel, Director for Nutrition Programs at the American Institute for Cancer Center, and she talked about awareness of nutrition as a National Nutrition Month awareness.
Is to celebrate a world of flavors. And so this year we are embracing all cultures and encouraging you to celebrate an explosion of flavors around the world. So our special guest tonight, Sheena Patel from Arlington, Virginia. She's currently the Director of Nutrition Programs at the American Institute for Cancer Research. So allow me to read her bio. So we'll kind of establish this discussion about nutrition. And Sheena Patel is have experience in a decade of experience working on health promotion and wellness and disease prevention and management with a role as the Director of Nutrition Program at the American Institute for Cancer Research. At ARCR, she oversees evidence-based programs focused on reducing cancer risk by promoting improved nutrition, diet, and weight management, and provides on reducing cancer risk by promoting improved nutrition, diet, and weight management, and practical tips and tools to implement the AI in inspiring ways. Through her
Indian woman, it was, a way that I really connected with my culture. I remember being, younger in the kitchen with my mom, watching her cook traditional dishes and just food in general. And for me, being the unofficial taste tester, it was just a fun time. And, growing up, food for me was all about family, comfort, connection. But equally in my household, food, was also wellness and well-being and health. And so at a young age, it was something that I was really passionate about. I went to University of Kentucky, and I remember taking my first nutrition class, and I remember sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, this is what I want to do. Being able to, I wanted to do something in the food field and the, kind of healthcare setting, helping people. And so I was kind of able to put, my passions together.
As you can see, we tackle mind, body, and spirit when we talk about Healthy Mondays. And the year 2022 really presents controversial events such as the indictment of a registered nurse due to medication errors. So Dr. Ray Sarafica, immediate past president of APINA of Nevada and professor at UNLV School of Nursing, along with Dr. Kay Fontanilla, who is the past treasurer and professor also at College of Southern Nevada College of Nursing, joined me to tackle about the medication error. And if I can refresh your memory, this registered name is named Radonda Vaught, and she was a former nurse at the Vanderbilt University Medical Center, and she was convicted of 2 felonies for a fatal drug error, and whose trial became a rally. It's a rally cry for nurses fearful of the criminalization of medical mistakes will not be, and she will not be required to spend any time in prison. That's the update. So the Davidson County Criminal Court Judge Jennifer Smith granted Vaught a judicial diversion, and that means her conviction will be expunged if she completes a 3-year probation. And let's listen to the interview with Dr. Sarafica and Dr. Fontanilla with this controversial event that happened in 2022.
are my colleagues and friends. They are nurse educators here in the Southern Nevada. Welcome, Dr. Ray Sarafica to Healthy Mondays.
Good evening, Mary Faye. Good evening, listeners. It's nice to be back here again at Healthy Mondays, and I'm excited to be here with you again.
And by the way, Dr. Ray Sarafica is our current president for the APINA of Nevada. And thank you for being here tonight with me. And our second guest, and who's going to be giving us a lot of information about our topic, is Dr. Kay Fontanilla. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening. I'm Kay Fontanilla. I am currently the treasurer for the APINA of Nevada, and I am also a professor at the College of Southern Nevada. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kay. So, our listeners out there, all three of us are nurse educators, and so we're going to share with you some of the things that we actually teach our nursing students. But you all know, it's known that nursing is the number one most trusted profession in the healthcare. So, we will start with how do we educate our nursing students in regards to medication administration. So we can start with Kay. Kay, can you share with us like a day in the life of Dr. Kay Fontanilla when you're taking students, or even I think in skills lab and simulation, right, and didactic, and then it extends to the clinical setting. So what happens? What is the day in the life of Dr. Fontanilla?
Well, of course, it's a lot of preparation, and I always review, all these initiatives. Being here, I just also want to tell you that the topic today. It's relevant to what I'm teaching. I teach pharmacology, and I also teach lab. I also teach in the clinical setting. So everything is applied. Everything that I teach the students will apply in the lab, and they will apply in the clinical. So a lot of preparation, a lot of reinforcement regarding quality and safety in terms of administering medications to our patients, because most of the time, even the most educated patient, they are like really vulnerable, and they lack information regarding the safety of the treatments that are being administered to.
With the patient education, with the documentation, and also check the expiration date is one of the things that we train them to do. And also, if the patient, for example, refuse the medication, then what kind of documentation and what further steps that you need to do, in order to whether you call the physician or you report it to your charge nurse. So we need to do something to complete the process. So it's not just like you're just gonna stop and move on. There's always this pause. Joint Commission is very big on pause, and I think we can talk more about that later on.
Patient is refusing the medication. I'll document it, but I wanted to know why. Is there something that I could do to educate this patient and family that this patient really needs to take this medication in order to address the reason why the patient came into the hospital? An example for me is when I was consequences for the nurse who made
she's going through, for with this medication error trial. There's a lot of things that came to my mind when I heard about it. Like I question her knowledge. It's one thing. I question the environment where she was in during the time of error. I question the hospital system and how are they supporting her or not supporting her. I also
So our listeners out there, our kababayans and other new listeners, not only from Las Vegas, but the whole United States and also worldwide, as you can see, the different topics and the variation of topics that we are providing to our listeners out there is the mind, body, and spirit that's required to keep a person healthy. A lot of controversial topics that we covered, and fortunately for Miss Vaught, that she was not required to spend any time in prison. Here's another controversial topic that I would like to share. This one was presented by Dr. Kathleen Thimpson, and she's an expert in forensics nursing. And she talked about human trafficking, and that she revealed the three most common ways of human trafficking: sex human trafficking, labor human trafficking, and also forced organ harvesting. So let's listen to her.
How my career evolved from the bedside at the hospital in the med-surg unit and the critical care units to the emergency room, and then to crime scenes and the forensic aspects that I look at now which is how I actually stumbled into the topic we're going to talk about today with regard to human trafficking.
Yes, and I know this is the first time I'm meeting Kathy in person, and we did have a Zoom session, and we talked about human trafficking in many aspects. And I guess you can ask yourself, what comes into your mind when someone's say human trafficking? You always think about sex human trafficking, right? But Kathy had opened my thinking about it's not only that, there's also the labor human trafficking, right? And also, lastly, the forced organ transplant, right?
Correct.
And we'll talk a little bit about that. And
I was just spellbound with the information, and I had a totally misconceived notion about sex trafficking, and had no idea, just like you mentioned, that it involved labor trafficking as well, and now organ trafficking. And so I left that lecture that afternoon, and I went immediately to the library and did a literature search and found a lot of information, and I called up.
be familiar with those language so then they can pick it up. And I think now there's a mechanism for parents and
someone, and it said, thanks for playing this game on Xbox or PlayStation, whatever it was, and you are officially named a winner, but you have to come to this Sheraton. And it gave all the information about coming there and going to the 5th floor to room XYZ, whatever it was, to claim your prize. And he hurried, and it gave him directions not to talk to people, don't tell them where you're going or anything like that. And I thought, oh, this is not good. So, and she was on a run to go pick up a fella who had lacerated his leg with a saw and was hemorrhaging. And when she got him into the ambulance, the man's boss.
As you can imagine, that's a very sensitive topic that Dr. Timpson had shared with us, and how she revealed the 3 most ways of human trafficking. And she was telling a story about these 2 young kids who was going to go meet the perpetrators. So anyway, the other episode that we have has to do with passion, purpose, and perseverance. This one is with Miss Patrice Tanaka from New York City.
Over my career, I co-founded 3 award-winning PR and marketing agencies, and 6 years ago now, started a consultancy called Joyful Planet, which is focused on life purpose and organizational purpose. So my focus is on helping individuals and organizations discover and actively live or operationalize their purpose to unleash greater success, fulfillment, and joy in their personal lives, in their workplaces, and in their communities. And I'm really excited to be on Healthy Mondays because, as you probably know, living a purposeful life is foundational to health and wellness. In fact, there's a lot of research showing that people who have a purpose in life tend to live longer and have healthier relationships. They're also less likely to develop sleep problems, have a heart attack, or die prematurely.
As Patrice Tanaka is sharing, that we all have a purpose and we all have a passion, and what we need to do is to persevere. So not only that, we talk about, how to find your purpose, and also going over controversial issues like Ms. Bond, who had been indicted for medication error, as well as the human trafficking with Dr. Timpson. We brought back Dr. Manas Mandal to give us an update on COVID-19 global pandemic, since we're still in the middle of the pandemic, as you may have forgotten, because we're almost back to normal, but not quite. So here is Dr. Manas Mandal giving us an update about COVID-19 global pandemic.
Era of COVID-19 pandemic, we all thought that past the Thanksgiving and into the winter, maybe things will ease up a little bit. We will go back to slowly in our normal life, meeting up with our friends and family, have a nice Christmas dinner, going to the shows and movies, just relaxing a little bit after grueling almost 2 years now into this pandemic. But unfortunately, with the emergence of one more new variant out of South Africa, things are getting a little tighter. Today, we are going to talk about this new variant, which is known as Omicron variant, and as much we know about it. This app was, if I'm not too wrong, first really well utilized and developed outside US, South Korea. To Indian folks that I work with, they are my colleagues in India. They invited me to give a webinar on the variants and vaccine efficacy.
Were those who were already fully vaccinated,
Yes.
but did not have the booster yet.
Doses.
Right.
Yes, sure. The very recent, as of today, CDC released a 5-page report. I was reading the summary as I was traveling with Marife to come to the studio for this recording. It's very intriguing, but the scientific fact is that so far, Omicron variant has been spread to about 24 different states in US, about 45 different countries worldwide. We do not have any scientific or clinical information whether Omicron variant is present right now in the valley or in the state of Nevada, but it will be known in next several days whether we already have a presence of Omicron variant in Las Vegas Valley.
It's a
But
temporary good news.
it's a temporary good news. Them have BMI level over 30. So this is the time for our community to pay attention again.
And so we are very thankful and grateful to Dr. Manas Mandal for bringing us update regarding the COVID-19 global pandemic, an update on the vaccinations, an update on the variants that's coming up. So we will continue to bring him back in if there's any significant updates regarding COVID-19. Of course, we also celebrate here at Healthy Mondays. The celebration that we had is really with President Doreen Hall. She's the current president of the Las Vegas Hawaiian Civic Club. So let's listen to her when I interviewed her during the celebration of the Asian American Pacific Islander Awareness Month. So let's listen to her.
My 60th birthday last year during Thanksgiving Day. And so having said that, I lived most of my life in Hawaii, which makes part of my heart Hawaiian.
I am the current Pele Kekena, president of the Las Vegas Hawaiian Civic Club. The Las Vegas Hawaiian Civic Club has been serving the community here for 32 years. I am an original and native of Hawaii, born and raised on the island of Oahu. I am a Kanaka Maole. I am half Hawaiian, Chinese, Portuguese, so I do have that little Asian heritage in me as well. Just made the move here to the city of Las Vegas in 2019, so I do now call Las Vegas my home.
You mentioned Kanaka Maoli. I know the phrase because it's part of my when I did my dissertation, and Mr. John, I forgot his last name. He's one of the professor at University of Hawaii.
Okay.
But can you share with our listeners what Kamaka?
Yeah. So Kanaka is translated as people in Olelo, Hawaii, in our mother language. Maoli is, so we are natives of the island. So I am a native Hawaiian. That's my identity, that I identify with my multi-race background, right? And back home in Hawaii, when you're mixed with different diversities or ethnicities, you know, they say you're chop suey, which means you're a bunch of mix, right? So I am half Hawaiian, Chinese, Portuguese, but identify with my native Hawaiian culture. Biggest Hawaiian
the ninth island.
Wow, why is Las Vegas called the Ninth Island? And we just briefly talked about it this morning. It's a controversy, right? In itself, is different perspective. People here in Las Vegas, in the U.S. continent, they call it the Ninth Island because it feels like it. Again, is emulated. We know that Vegas will never replace Hawaii, and we give that respect and homage to our motherland, right? Hawaii is Hawaii. It consists of 8 islands. But here in Las Vegas, because it feels just like home, it's just different elements, right? The weather is different. It's a desert, but it's isolated, just like Hawaii, right? So a lot of the locals that live here now refers it to the Ninth Island. Now, is that right or wrong? Again, it's just your different perspective. But we always, at the end of the day, we always give respect to home.
So thank you, Doreen Hall. It's really good to know why Las Vegas is known as the Ninth Island, right? And I always wonder about that, even before I moved here, when people are saying, "Oh, the Ninth Island, Las Vegas." So now you know about the Ninth Island. So not only that we're keeping you healthy mind, body, and spirit, we're also educating you with a lot of different terminologies that is commonly heard here in Las Vegas. Lastly, I know that we're running out of time. Time flies when we're having fun. That's my cue. So we also have an episode with my friend and neighbor, Miss Cynthia Caton Atkins. She is a recreational specialist at North Vista Hospital, and she graciously agreed to be interviewed to help you to eat healthily during the holidays and beyond. So let's listen to Ate Cynthia. That's what I fondly called her.
Yes, and for our listeners out there, I just wanted to say that resonate to what Ate Cynthia is saying, that we need fats in our body. And in a cellular level, in order for our minerals and our vitamins to move around our body,
That's correct.
even our electrolytes, we need some fat.
Yes.
Because there's like some fat soluble
Vitamins, yeah.
vitamins.
It helps for
that-
absorption
Correct.
of those nutrients, yes. And they have some psychiatric illness, but they are good. Thing that I asked for help for my friends to come a little earlier is the setting. You know, when you put out things and display everything and decorate everything. I like the fresh one. I mean, the fresher they use and things like that.
The vegetable that we Filipinos are used to are not available. Like one day I wanted to cook sinigang, and so I went to the Filipino store and there's no sitaw.
Yeah.
I said, like, where's your sitaw? And then I said, there's no talong. There's no talong. And then I said, and I saw the bok choy. So I grabbed the bok choy and used that for my sinigang instead.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
kids love the bok choy.
I use spinach in sinigang.
Oh, that's an idea too, spinach.
You know, you can put anything. Don't be scared of try. I like to try things. I like my husband said, I just like to experiment. If you haven't done that before, put it anyway.
And they are retired as young as they are. I've been a nurse for 25 years, but I can't afford to retire yet. I don't know what these are two people are doing, but I will just interview them to see what are they doing with their lives, and most probably we could get out of it, right? So are we ready, Cez and my dear Leanna?
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you for having us.
All right, so maybe we could get a little bit of introduction in your own dialect, because we have here a diversified group with us today. You can just say hi to them, to our viewers or to our listeners at this point.
Hello, good evening. Maupay nga aga, gabi, hayo nga tanan, mga waray-waray. I am Cecilia Aguirre. I'm originally from Hawaii. I just recently relocated here in Las Vegas. And I'm joined here with my colleague, Liana Kaivi. And she's also a registered nurse from Hawaii. And she's here in Las Vegas too.
Yes, I moved about a couple years ago. So I was born and raised in Hawaii and moved to Las Vegas, to try it out, some different opportunities. And I was working here in the ICU and also in the recovery room here. So yeah, 8 years of nursing.
That's great. See, they are all nurses.
Financially free, where I don't even have to worry about my bills.
people, when it comes to finances, they always think, oh, I gotta save, I gotta save. But nowadays, if you look at the options, it's very limited. And if you go with the traditional options, such as going to the bank or a credit union, most of the time you won't find anywhere that you could really potentially grow your money significantly. Majority of the time, it's very restricted on the potential growth of your money. But definitely, you just need to do your own diligence of researching. There are a lot of different financial tools and solutions that you could partake in that will allow you to grow your money in a much faster way and more secured way.
Okay, and that was an episode hosted by our very own Dr. Sarah Barinas, who is our incoming president for APNA of Nevada. She interviewed 2 nurses who are also involved in finances. So, and there you have it, mind, body, and spirit, and preparing you to be financially wise. And so we have more episodes about keeping you healthy and wise. And just like I said, time flies when we are having fun. That is my cue. We are bringing in new guests and previous guests to share their knowledge and expertise to keep you healthier. So in the meantime, maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig sa aming programa dito sa Healthy Mondays with the Apina of Nevada. So next week, we have a new brand episode with our nursing students regarding scholarships. So stay tuned for that. So in the meantime, remember, our kababayans, every Monday is a Healthy Monday. Aloha!